Welcome to Hot Zone Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. For centuries, Batanes was a remote whisper on the wind, an archipelago of 10 islands, only 3 inhabited, defined by rolling green hills and stone houses built to withstand typhoons. The Ivatan people carved out a life here, isolated from the world, their traditions holding firm. But isolation is fading. Today, August 7, 2025, Batanes is thrust onto the global stage. The province now sits at the center of immense geopolitical forces swirling across the South China Sea and the Taiwan Strait. The United States and China are the main players, and the stakes are high. The winds now carry the hum of military aircraft. Tranquil harbors, once for fishing boats, are eyed for naval vessels. The transformation is felt in daily life. Batanes is no longer just a serene paradise, but a potential flashpoint. Here, international relations become immediate concerns. This story explores how Batanes, a place of breathtaking beauty, has become a focal point of military strategy. We'll examine the history and geography that make these islands so critical. We'll hear from the people whose lives are being reshaped by decisions made in distant capitals. We'll analyze joint military exercises between the Philippines and the United States, and we'll consider what this means for the balance of power in a region on edge. Batanes is small, but its story is large. It's about the collision of local life and global power. The quiet frontier is awakening. Its fate now ripples across the Indo-Pacific. The world is watching, and for the Ivatans, everything is changing. Look at a map. Batanes is a tiny cluster of dots between Luzon and Taiwan. Its location, once a barrier, is now its greatest asset. The Luzon Strait and Bashi Channel made Batanes isolated, preserving Ivatan culture. But now its proximity to Taiwan, less than 200 kilometers, gives it strategic weight. In any Taiwan conflict, control of the Luzon Strait is crucial. For China, it's a gateway to the Pacific, and a key to blockading Taiwan. For the U.S. and allies, keeping the strait open is vital for freedom of navigation and military support. Batanes offers a perfect platform for radar, surveillance, and potentially missile batteries. It could serve as a forward base, a lily pad for forces in the region. This makes Batanes a linchpin in U.S. Indo-Pacific strategy. Its significance has shifted from local resilience to global security. The fate of these islands is now tied to Taiwan, the freedom of the seas, and the U.S.-China rivalry. Batanes is no longer a remote province, it's a frontline state in a new era of great power competition. The world's attention is fixed on this small speck. Its strategic weight is immense. The transformation is irreversible. Geography has made Batanes a gate, not a barrier. The island's future is now a matter of global consequence. The chessboard has shifted, and Batanes is at its center. The Luzon Strait is a global maritime choke point, a superhighway for trade and digital communication. Every day, cargo ships and undersea cables pass through, connecting Asia to the world. Any disruption here would send shockwaves through the global economy and internet. The strait's deep waters are ideal for submarines. Its islands, including Batanes, offer cover and basing. For China's Navy, the strait is the gateway to the Pacific and a path to Project Power. For the U.S. and allies, it's a critical line of defense. Keeping it open is fundamental to deterring aggression and maintaining the status quo. U.S. Navy freedom of navigation operations challenge excessive claims and reinforce international law. Batanes, now a strategic outpost, adds a new dimension to this effort. It's a fixed point to monitor and potentially control this vital choke point. The stakes are not just military, they're economic and digital. The world's stability depends on the peaceful transit through these waters. The Luzon Strait is more than a battleground, it's a lifeline. Batanes stands guard at its edge. The island's role is now global. The world's arteries run through here, and Batanes is the pulse. The choke point is in play. Strategic maps are becoming reality in Batanes. The military presence is growing. Marines and Army personnel are now a common sight. They're establishing permanent posts, upgrading communications, and patrolling the islands. Airstrips and the Basco Airport are being improved for larger military aircraft. Ports like Mavulis Island are being developed officially for fishermen, but with clear strategic value. These changes align with Philippine and U.S. interests. Under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, the U.S. has access to key sites across the Philippines. While Batanes isn't an official EDCA site, U.S. military engineers and planners are already involved. Their visits signal deepening security ties, focused on countering threats in the Taiwan Strait. American personnel arrive for joint training, humanitarian drills, and strategic consultations. Their presence brings advanced technology, and the reality of global power politics. U.S. aircraft and ships are now familiar sights, reminding locals in Beijing that Batanes is no longer peripheral. The islands are now on the front line of America's Indo-Pacific strategy. The transformation is visible, audible, and irreversible. Batanes is no longer just a quiet outpost, it's a strategic stronghold. The world's attention is here. The Balikatan exercises are the backbone of the U.S. Philippine alliance. Once focused on disaster response, these drills now simulate high-end warfare. For the first time, Batanes is a key venue, a deliberate message to Beijing. U.S. and Filipino forces practice amphibious landings, deploy air defense systems, and conduct live-fire drills in the Luzon Strait. This is not just training, it's a show of resolve and capability. The drills reassure allies like Taiwan and Japan and serve as deterrents. Each exercise is political theater, signaling a tightening alliance. The choice of Batanes directly addresses the Taiwan contingency, but this strategy carries risk. China sees these moves as provocative. Beijing condemns the drills as destabilizing, viewing the military buildup as a threat. What one side calls defense, the other calls provocation. The echoes of these drills reach Beijing, raising regional tensions. Batanes is now a stage for great power rivalry. The stakes are high and the world is watching. The balance of power is shifting, and Batanes is at the heart of it. For the 18,000 Ivitans, geopolitics is a double-edged sword. New attention brings better infrastructure, jobs, and economic opportunities. Improved airports and ports mean better access and potential for tourism and fishing. Many Ivitans feel patriotic, seeing the military buildup as protection for their home. Memories of World War II invasions linger, security is valued. But anxiety grows, peace, culture, and the environment feel threatened. Military noise and construction disrupt the quiet and raise environmental concerns. There's fear of becoming a target if conflict erupts over Taiwan. The strategic value that brings investment could also bring destruction. Conversations turn to the future. Will their way of life survive? The Ivitans are resilient, but this is a new kind of storm. They're caught between progress and peril. The burden is heavy for a small community. The path ahead is uncertain. The geopolitical spotlight brings economic waves to Batanes. Military and construction personnel boost demand for local goods and services. Guest houses, restaurants, and markets are busier, jobs are created. Infrastructure projects offer new opportunities, especially for young people. The government frames this as a win-win security and development. But costs are rising. Housing and goods become less affordable. There's concern that benefits won't reach everyone, and some will be left behind. Overdevelopment threatens Batanes' ecotourism reputation. A permanent military presence could erode the island's unique appeal. The future is at a crossroads: sustainable tourism or hardened outpost. Balancing these paths is Batanes' economic challenge. The stakes are high for the island's identity. The next wave will define their future. China is watching Batanes closely. To Beijing, U.S. Philippine military cooperation near its shores is a direct challenge. Chinese officials criticize the Philippines as a pawn in America's game, warning of regional instability. The Chinese Coast Guard and maritime militia increase their presence using gray zone tactics to intimidate. Economically, China hints at consequences: reduced investment, tourism, and trade barriers. The Philippines must balance security with economic ties to China. The choices over Batanes have far-reaching implications. For China, any military facility here complicates its Taiwan plans and raises the cost of conflict. Batanes is now a significant strategic problem for Beijing. The dragon's gaze is fixed on these islands. China's reaction will shape the region's future. The tension is real and growing. The stakes extend far beyond Batanes. Batanes, with its windswept hills and stone houses, is now a symbol of our times, a microcosm of a world on edge. Local realities are being reshaped by global power struggles. The fate of this archipelago is tied to Taiwan and the international order. The transformation from paradise to flashpoint highlights the U.S.-China rivalry. The Philippines seeks to secure its territory without being drawn into conflict. Batanes is the testing ground for this balancing act. The world is watching. The consequences will ripple far beyond the Luzon Strait. The stakes are high for all. For the Ivitans, it's about protecting their identity and way of life. Their spirit of love of homeland and cooperation has endured for centuries now. They face their greatest test as their quiet frontier becomes a global front line.